Whether you want to admit it or not, we all like to receive compliments from time to time. Yes, it's a bit of a shallow thing to say, but it undeniably gives you a boost of confidence and can improve your day. While I don't wear clothes for the specific intention of receiving compliments, I have noticed that certain items in my wardrobe receive more attention than others. So today I want to share some of these pieces with you. And if you want to feel better about yourself, watch along and maybe this will give you some ideas for your next pickups. A real leather jacket. You've heard me talk about this one before and I will continue to talk about it because it's so true. A well-made, genuine leather jacket will always turn heads. The one I'm talking about specifically is of course my Aero Type 3, which I've mentioned many times on this channel. If you like the look of this on screen, then you would honestly be in awe of it in real life. The thick horsehide gives you a real presence when wearing it. It has a shine and texture that you can only get from real leather. And of course the smell is intoxicating as well. I've had this for around 3 years now and I always assumed the smell would fade away, but if anything it's more noticeable now. I think the best way to describe a leather jacket like this is that it's a real grown-up piece. People seem to really take you seriously when you have a well-made leather jacket on. It seems bonkers to say that, but in my experience it's true. A blazer worn casually. Alright, this piece is fairly new to me, but I'm surprised by how many compliments I get when I wear it. This vintage 1980s Armani blazer. I think there's a few reasons why this catches people's eye. Firstly is the material. It's 100% wool and you can absolutely tell. It has that genuine thick woolen look to it. You'll find most vintage suits are like this, with generous use of materials that we consider luxury today, like wool or silk. And it does make a huge difference to the final look of the piece. Secondly is the fit. Being from the 80s or early 90s, it's still in that power suit era, so it has that broad look but without loads of padding. If anything, the shoulders are on the soft side. I believe it's also a bit longer than modern suits as well, which also leads to it having 3 buttons instead of 2. I'm not very well versed on suiting, but the general feeling I get is that a lot of suit fanatics aren't particularly fond of modern cuts, and perhaps that's why so many people love the look of this vintage blazer. A woolen overcoat. Outerwear and good materials are a bit of a theme in this video, and this one combines the two. A woolen overcoat has got to be one of the biggest cheat codes in menswear. I have here my vintage Burberry Balmacan, or I should say Burberry's, since it's pre-1999. The thing about overcoats is that they are just impressive pieces, and with so many techwear options these days, it feels like the woolen overcoat has been a bit forgotten. And so when you whip one of these out, it's no surprise that they get you compliments. Especially if you get the right fit, which in my opinion should be on the slightly bigger side. So longer in length, ideally past the knee, with relaxed drop shoulders and a roomy cut across the chest. You want to be able to layer underneath it and create that big, almost intimidating shape that gets people talking. If you had something that was super form-fitting, it just wouldn't have that wow factor, in my opinion. Genuine leather boots. For footwear, there's only one type that gets me compliments every time. A pair of good leather boots. Admittedly, I have quite a few now, but they all get the same response. Everyone just seems to love them. I think part of the reason is because the majority of people these days wear sneakers. So when you turn up in leather boots, they get a positive reaction. Most recently, I've been enjoying my Red Wing Blacksmith boots a lot. They have a nice balance of smart and casual style, and the deep red colour, which is called Briar Oil Slick, is quite unique. But even when I used to wear my old Doc Martens, it was a guarantee that every time I wore them out, someone would say something good about them. So if you haven't invested in a pair of decent boots yet, now might be the time. A vintage or unusual belt. This one is probably one of the lowest effort upgrades you can do, and yet it has a huge impact and will always get you compliments. A belt, specifically something vintage or slightly unusual. I say that because a plain black or brown belt is great, but they just kind of blend in with your outfits, which is absolutely fine and how they should be worn. But if you get something with a unique or standout design, then it becomes a centerpiece and a real talking point. And that's why I mentioned vintage belts, like this Western style one I got from my dad. I get more compliments and comments on this than probably anything else in my wardrobe. It's from the 80s or 90s, no brand name on it unfortunately, but the brown leather has held up extremely well and gained a beautiful patina, which also extends to the metal detail, giving it that genuine lived-in look. And along with a unique design that you probably won't see anything else, makes it an item that always gets an excitable reaction. A good fragrance. Okay, next isn't strictly a fashion item, so I won't spend too long on it. But it needs to be said, a nice fragrance will always get you compliments. I've had random people tap me on the shoulder to ask me what fragrance I'm wearing. And when I greet friends or new people, I'm often praised for how nice I smell. The ones that really work well for me and definitely get the most compliments are the more spicy and woody ones, which is perfect since we're in fall right now. I'll just reel off a few and then you can make your own mind up on whether you want to try them or not. YSL La Nuit d'Homme has been my absolute favourite for a number of years now. Maison Margiela Jazz Club, a well-loved one by many people, very highly rated. Prada Paradigm, the newest one in my collection, has a very warm amber wood fragrance to it, absolutely lovely. Double denim. Alright, I had to add this one in because I received a compliment on it very recently. It's double denim. I reckon the reason behind this is because a lot of people perceive double denim as a bit of a fashion faux pas, something that shouldn't really be done. However, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but when it's done tastefully, people seem to really like it. I think the key, firstly, is to not go for the exact same shades of denim on top and bottom, because if it's too matchy, it can look a bit contrived. What I'm liking at the moment is my Lee Ryder jacket on top and my Levi's 505 on bottom. They're both blue denim, but slightly different shades. And also, being of different vintage ages, they have varying levels of patina, which helps to keep them distinct. I also think the fit helps. I've gone for very classically fitting pieces here. The jacket is shorter in length and quite close to the body, and the jeans are a regular cut with a straight leg. So perhaps the perceived craziness of double denim in this case is slightly balanced out by the regularness of the fit. So there's some of the pieces in my collection that always seem to get me compliments. I'd love to know if it's the same for you, or do you have certain other pieces that always get people talking? Do let us know down in the comments. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.